Hey, my name is Ben from Picaroon Games, and I just wanted to show you my most recent release of Snappie, which is an add-on that I've been developing. It's basically a rewrite from the default Snappie in Blender, and it's got a couple more goodies added into the general menu, and I will go over kind of what those do in this video. Just to show you really quick, I'm going to enable the default snap pie back here again, which is key mapped to Shift S. Most people are familiar with it. Your selection is all up here and your cursor is down here. I always thought this menu was a little bit messy and I rarely ever used the grid options. So I wanted to rewrite this just to have this organized a little bit better and take these options out. I do have an option to add those back in, and I'll show you that in a second. If you want to use a snap menu that you kind of use your cursor flick to, then I would just advise using the machine tools. This is a free add-on by Machine, and he's got some really awesome tools in here. There's the align pies and the snapping pies. He also reorganizes those pies and allows you to do some different snapping things within the edit mode as well. But for now, my add-on Snappie is going to focus on a little bit of a different workflow. So let's just go over the preferences really quick. There's only two preferences right now. It's your key map. By default, it's just going to be Shift S because it has the same options as your Shift S snapping menu. And the other one is going to be these grid snapping options. So that is, whoops. So I need to disable this first. So the first thing after you install it, then I would also recommend to go into your 3D view and just uncheck that default Shift S as long as you want to use Shift S for your key map here. So then you'll be able to see Snappie, this reorganization here. And then if you enable this, then Snappie will add these two grid options and your cursor to grid and your selection to grid here. I don't use them, so by default I have them disabled in the add-on. So the other things here, that's all of the preferences, so I'm just going to exit that out. I've got a couple basic items set up here so I can show you kind of what this does. So the other two big things here are going to be your align cursor and align object, and a lot of my workflow ends up using the 3D cursor to align things and to snap things into place. And I loved using the cursor to active or cursor to selected option here, but the only annoying thing was that if you go to view here, you can see if you use those options, it snaps your location, but not your rotation. So that is what align cursor does. It flips your cursor to align to your active origin for your active object. If you want to reset the cursor without going to world origin, this will zero everything out, and that is one of the default options in Blender. But if you're up here and you want to just zero out the rotation here, you don't have to go into this menu. You can click this little reset button there, and that will zero out your rotation, but keep your location the same. Okay, and then the other thing, let's align that cursor to this object. A lot of my workflow involves building things in line. Maybe this is, I don't know, an arm or something like that, and we want to line up objects. So if you just line your cursor up to the base object here, you can select whatever object you want and flick the cursor through the align object option here, and we can just align things up like that. It's really nice, especially if you're adding new items. Typically, when you add a new item, let's add like a cone here. It'll add where the cylinder is, and then you can just flick that over, and it'll line up to your design that you're working on. So a lot of the times I'll have some kind of base object that's aligned to wherever all of my other designs are, so I can always just select that object and align my cursor and have a kind of a root shape there. Okay, so the other options here are going to be this little box up here, and I call this isolation mode. It works very similarly to the new stager options in ZBrush, with one small difference. So some people like to isolate their objects by holding or pressing Shift H, and that will hide everything that is non-selected, and you can reveal that with Alt H. But sometimes you just want to move an object to a different place. We can rotate that around and work on it and still see the rest of your design. So just in case you want to do that, let's go back here. You select whatever object you want, and then you open up Snappie and you set the home position. So if you click that button, you'll see that it is set by the home position being toggled on. You can see it's highlighted. And then, so now the home position is set. We can move this other object out of the way and rotate it. And if we like that position, we can then set that target location. And now if you hit this button, it will switch in between your home location and your target location. So the one thing that it does not do is it doesn't save the scale. In Stager, it will save the scale of wherever the home position is and the scale of wherever the target is. And I understand the reason for that. Maybe you're working on a button or something small on a jacket, and you want to blow it up and work on those details and then shrink it back down in your other position. But honestly, for me, in most of my workflow, if I am shrinking something down to be that small, I don't need that much detail in it anyways. So I decided to leave that out. If enough people want that, I can probably add that into the preferences fairly easily, where you can just toggle that option on if you would like. Okay. And then just one other minor caveat. When you toggle this home button off, you'll see that it is unselected. The highlight goes away. And if you deselect that, the home position is still stored wherever you originally set it. So if we switch back and forth between those again, it will continue to keep that home position. The home position is only reset when you toggle this on. So let me just move this a little bit to the side so you can see the difference. So now I'm going to toggle that on. And when we switch in between those two, you can see now the home position is reset. If the target is toggled off, it doesn't store the target location, it zeroes out the target location. So now we switch between those two. All right, but again, if we have our base object here, it's really easy just to snap that back in place and toggle that off, toggle that back on again. Now the home position is set. Move this over, rotate this around, set our target position, and now we're good to go. Okay, that's pretty much the bulk of Snappie at this time. I will be adding other features into Snappie soon, so keep an eye out for that. And if there's any bugs that pop up, if anybody finds anything, let me know under the comments or just email me and let me know. This is probably going to be on Gumroad just for a couple bucks, you know, probably the price of a coffee or something. But yeah, let me know how you like it, and if you want to try it, the link is going to be in the description for the Gumroad link. And then one other thing as well, this whole add-on was actually made by another add-on called Serpens, which is visual scripting in Blender. So it uses the node system and allows you to program your own add-ons without having to type out all of the BPY, having to type out the Python. So the Discord server is a super great place to learn about this. And if you're interested in making your own add-ons and kind of optimizing your own workflow, I would super recommend this add-on. Joshua, the developer, is super great, as well as all of the people on the Discord, super friendly and super helpful. So if you want, head on over to Blender Market and pick this up. This is a super great add-on to have in your repertoire. Okay, and that's pretty much it for Snappie. If you guys, again, have any comments, questions, leave it below. And or if you need help with anything, I will try and respond to you. Again, if you have any recommendations for me to put into Snappie, let me know that too. And if there's enough kind of traffic, if there's enough popularity for a suggestion, then I will consider putting that into here as well. Or maybe I'll make a community version or something with suggestions and put that into Snappie as well. So I hope you guys like it, and let me know what you think. Hope you have a good one. Peace.